What's up, everybody? We're on a podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the review scores for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. This is a day I was looking forward to, for a very, very long time. We knew this was coming. It's honestly refreshing to get, reviews for a game about a week out. I mean, technically maybe 6 days out, right? A lot of games nowadays, you get the review scores a day before or 2 days before. Sometimes that's not a make or break thing, but, for a game like this, okay, you're getting it 6 days early. That normally at least signifies that they have some confidence, in it. And to be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with these review scores. These are very, very high scores. It's sitting at an 86 right now on Metacritic based off, I believe, 69 scores. So that's a very, very high number. And I feel like I called that. I think I did my review score prediction. I did like a YouTube short. And I think I said high 80s because I think the original MGS3, I think it was like a 91. So I think I predicted like 86, 7, 8, somewhere in that range. Because, when you remake a game, can you give it a higher score than the original? And, that gets into some of the ethics of, giving games scores. But look, honestly, this one's pretty easy. Like, I like doing these videos where we talk about the reviews, right? I didn't get a chance to play it this early. So, all we can really do is look at what other people have said. And so I like doing these. This one honestly feels pretty easy because it feels like everybody's saying the exact same thing. It just depends on the value you put into it. Okay, so what I'm talking about, this is a faithful remake of the 2004 MGS3. It is so one-to-one, and it is so engraved in, like, it'll feel like a lot of it. Like, it literally is you playing it in 2004, okay? Does that make it a good game or a bad game? And that's really where we're at. When you get these sites that are giving it 10s, 9s, 8.5s, all these high scores, right? What they're saying is it is a faithful remake that does the job. I mean, some people are saying perfectly, right? Some people are saying it does the job about as well as you could possibly do it, okay? Some of the lower scores, now there is like technical issues. I want to talk about that in a second, okay? But the low scores, besides technical stuff, is the same kind of talk. It's still people saying, hey, this is a one-to-one remake, but it's so much a one-to-one remake that is it even worth playing? Because if you played the original, you have played it, and is it worth buying it? Honestly, I've said this before, okay, when you're remaking a game, I will take a remake that expands. I think, honestly, Dead Space remake is maybe the best example. It's a modern one, too, right? Something that's recent that we can kind of all remember. It added Isaac talking, all right? That is a major, major change of tone and feel from the original Dead Space. I think that paid off, okay? But most times when you're remaking, or honestly even remastering a game, when you're doing it to a legendary game, do you have to change much? Honestly, you could actually argue Silent Hill 2. Now, that game expanded where it needed to expand, but also stayed pretty darn faithful to the original Silent Hill 2. So we've almost had two different ones here, right? We've had Silent Hill 2 that did take some liberties, and in my opinion, took the right ones. It's a good game. It's a good game because of those things, along with it being Silent Hill 2, which we know is a great game. The interesting thing to me, and this is why I think like journalists are sometimes just on the wrong page, like they're not on the right page with us as people when we talk about it, the talk leading into this game from, I would say, a large amount of the fandom is don't change it. A lot of the talk leading in was the Kojima controversy, which is you can't really make these games without him. And in part, that's true, right? I think there's such a fear to make a new Metal Gear game. And that's why I honestly don't think they'll ever do it. Make a new Metal Gear game without Hideo Kojima. And so when you're remaking 3, and you're maybe remaking a top 3 game he's ever made in his life, right? What should you do? Well, from the fandom, a lot of what you should do is not touch it. Is literally, if you're going to remake it, you make it as close to the original as humanly possible. So I guess just what I'm confused in, I'm defending the game if that wasn't obvious enough. I'm confused in like the low scores that are targeting like the, hey, this is such a one-to-one thing, why are we even doing this? I mean, look, there could be an argument of like why remake certain games, like should you remake masterpieces? And the answer isn't always yes. In fact, you might say no, and I can respect that, right? If a game is a masterpiece, does it ever need to be remade? But if you're gonna remake it, and you're gonna remake a controversial one like this, then you should do it as close to the original as humanly possible. So okay, the game comes out, out. It is as close to the original as humanly possible, and you have some people that hate it because of that. Maybe not hate, maybe that's a strong word, but think it's like, versus like, oh, this is an excellent thing. Look, I got news for you. A lot of people didn't play the original MGS3. A lot of people that are getting this game are probably not even 21 years old, okay? Like, they weren't even alive. That's strange. It's crazy. But some people weren't alive, in 2004, all right? So I think a lot of people maybe could be getting this for the first time here, and hey, would this be the best place to play it? I think that's what a remake is shooting for 9 out of 10 times, right? Is this remake the best way of playing select game? And you want that to normally be true. You want to say, yes, this is the best way to play it. So for a game like MGS3, again, like all these people saying, hey, it's so close to the original, like maybe it's almost too close. I think that's a net positive in my mind. Again, I'm only going based off of what everybody else is saying. I'll be playing it myself, and I'll give you guys my review, in a week or two. So that's one element. Now, I don't want to end this video, though, without talking about the elephant in the room, which is the performance, okay? The performance has been dissected and talked about quite a bit online, and to me, at least when it was first breaking this morning, it really depended on like the system. It really seems like the PS5 Pro is the issue. There again, like depending on which review you read, some people had issues kind of across the board, okay? This might have issues on multiple consoles. It might just not be a well-optimized game. Obviously, again, like the elephant in the room is the whole PS5 Pro thing from, I think, Digital Foundry, right? Like PS5 Pro runs it worse than PS5. So like you were literally, and I actually have a PS5 and not a Pro, so you are better off playing this game on the base PS5 than the PS5 Pro. It sparks a discussion, of course, of Unreal Engine 5, right? Like, I think honestly, okay, just really quick, what it is, it tends to, I think, be developers that are just going for it too much. I think it's developers that want to use the cool features of Unreal Engine 5, but then don't know how to optimize it. I feel like it can be an engine that's fine. Obviously, everybody's more comfortable with 4. And I think that shows, in the games because it tends to, run better and they just literally get the engine. I just feel that's the reason. I feel like it's a new engine. People are trying to push it, and then people are trying to push it too far without really understanding the engine, and then you end up with what you have here. Again, like, it's not really acceptable. I will say that. Look, if sites are giving this a 7 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10 or whatever because their game just factually didn't run well, I get that. You're spending a lot of money. I think it's $70, right? You're spending, it's a full price game. If the game is going to come out in a bad condition, it deserves a low score. I would agree with that. Okay, I really would. Even though it's a masterpiece as a base game, and hey, maybe the remake is about as good as a remake can get. If the game doesn't function well, then yeah, you're going to have some issues, and the scores are going to reflect that. So that's my, controversial take, on that entire situation. I'm hoping it just runs well. I'm hoping, honestly, in the next week that they're able to fix. Now, I don't know. I mean, if the issues are as bad as people are saying, you got 6 days to patch this thing. So then when we put it in our console or download or whatever, day 1, that patch is ready and able to fix all of these issues. And the odds of that happening, I don't actually think are all that high. But again, it depends really on the person, because some people didn't have as many issues. Sites giving it 9s and 10s don't really talk about the issues. So either they ignored them and it doesn't really factor in, or they didn't have them, or they're lying about, I guess one of those 3, or maybe a mixture of them, right? But one of them for sure. So, hey, maybe it's just dependent on the person who played it, and maybe it just depends on where you play it. Again, the PS5 Pro is the one that people are saying absolutely has like the most issues. And I think that's just like a factual, observation. So that's what I've seen so far. I'm super freaking pumped. I'm getting it day 1, and the reviews don't change my mind. I mean, like I said, my prediction was that, hey, just do it as close as humanly possible to the original. It's the safest. It's the least controversial. You'll get the least amount of hate because of it. And also, I think it's the right thing to do for a game like this, and it seems like they did it. And that's my takeaway. By the way, my net takeaway from all these reviews is, if you like the original, this one, for better or worse, okay, it's got some of that cliche type stuff. It's got, it's a little bit odd. I mean, Kojima games, I don't know if you know this, Kojima games are weird. Like, the story is told in a certain way, and the acting is a certain way, and the gameplay is going to feel weird, at times, or maybe even all the time. Now, they have obviously added things to kind of modernize it if you want to modernize it, but if you want the 2004 experience again, with just it being up-resed and looking like it came out in 2025, that's what you're getting with this game. And I think the scores reflect that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.